Continue. All right, we're going to start live streaming. Doug, I'm so excited about this. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Let's see. All right. I think we'll be live pretty soon. Yes, here we are. Hello, hello, everybody. Let me see. I need to pin me or spotlight me. Oh, I should have done this ahead of time. All right, details. All right, hello, everybody. We are here today for Ask a PT. I am so excited. I don't know what I said to convince Doug to do this, but this guy is awesome. I'm so grateful for him. You know, good physical therapy is at really the root of the health for our individuals with Duchenne and so many facets of life. So I'm excited to have Doug here so we can pick his brain. And the good news is, guys, y'all can pick his brain too. So I'll get to that in a little bit. Wait, who is Doug? What? Huh? Okay, so this is Doug. Doug Levine is a physical therapist. He owns his own physical therapy organization? Practice. There we go. Practice. And it is called Growing Places in Austin, Texas. He has been, oh gosh, you've been doing this since the 90s? Is that right?
25 years.
Oh, you old man. And specializing with Duchenne for about the past 10 years or so, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with Duchenne for pretty much my whole career because I've done pediatrics the whole time, but really more specializing in it in the last 9 or 10 years. Awesome,
fantastic. So today we're just going to chit chat a little bit about the overall picture. I do want you guys to know Doug is licensed in Texas. If y'all desperately want to work with him, Texas is the best place, but you can also contact him through Cure Duchenne. He's able to help individual families that way too. And we're just kind of open to the entire world. So what we've got is we're not establishing any patient physical therapist relationship for these programs. It is for information, every now and then entertainment, but we're just here to help spread the word. So what I want to start off with, Doug, is how is physical therapy for the individual with Duchenne different from all of the other diagnoses?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really important, whether it's the parents or the caregivers or the therapists, to understand that from the beginning, that it is a different approach. Because most of the times with a lot of other diagnoses that we're seeing, we're working on strengthening. If there's something that's weak, we're trying to strengthen it. We're trying to improve it. Certainly with Duchenne, the goal is to improve the quality of life, to maintain independence, all of that. But it's a different approach because we're not focusing on strengthening. The muscles of somebody with Duchenne are a lot more susceptible to damage. And so when we're doing things like going up and down stairs or squatting or lifting heavy objects or things like that, we're running the risk of a higher chance that there's going to be damage to the muscle, which kind of speeds the disease process along. So the focus should be on mobility, on flexibility, and independence, whatever that looks like. So the therapist should be helping, how do we allow this child, this adult, anybody to do the things that they want to do? What modifications do we have to do? What equipment do we need to bring in to allow them independence and quality of life?
I love that, Doug. Because I really get the feeling when people talk about PT, they think, oh, okay, just, this movement in this joint or something very specific to physical, but it really does overflow into the individual's entire life, including social opportunities as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just a little bit of background for myself, because I think that's relevant to this. I work in a lot of different areas. So I see kids in the home. I'm a school therapist. I volunteered at muscular dystrophy camp. I help run the muscular dystrophy clinic that we have here in Austin twice a month. So I see people in different environments. So you really, it's not kind of a like just focusing on one thing, like you're saying, just on one joint or one muscle, but really looking at the whole picture. How can they get in and out of the car? What should they do at birthday parties where they're more like active type birthday parties, like jumping tents? How do they keep up with their friends at school? What do we do about vacations and going on planes and hiking trails? And so it's really, there needs to be that holistic approach and looking at all aspects of life.
So, Doug, when prospective physical therapists are going through school, are they taught much about Duchenne?
Well, as you had pointed out before, it's been quite a while since I've been in. So back when I was in PT school, I mean, pretty much no. Like we had just a few days on pediatrics in general. I think maybe the diagnosis of Duchenne was taught to us, but nothing more than like extreme basics. I think it's better now. I think they spend more time in the general curriculum on pediatrics, but overall, not really. I mean, I think PTs generally come out of school as knowing a little bit about lots of different things. So they might have touched on Duchenne, but I've talked to people coming out of school and they don't really have a handle on it just because they weren't taught. So it is considered a rare disease. So it's not, I've also taught continuing ed for pediatric therapists that have been doing it for 25 years that have never had a child with Duchenne on their caseload. So parents, caregivers, you don't want to have the assumption that just because somebody's a pediatric therapist and have been doing it for a long time, that they absolutely know what to do, because that's not always the case.
So if you do have a physical therapist who's not familiar with Duchenne, should you just run the other way screaming, or are there certain qualities that show, okay, maybe this could be a good fit in the long run?
Yeah. No, it's a fantastic question, and I get asked that a lot. And I think, I mean, obviously, it's best if you're working with a therapist that has experience with Duchenne, that knows about Duchenne. That's not always the case, as we just pointed out. I think it's a lot more important to have a therapist that is open to learning and open to understanding, rather than a therapist that maybe knows a little bit about Duchenne but is doing the wrong thing. So I would focus more on, is this therapist willing to learn? And absolutely, as parents and caregivers, when you're establishing that relationship with a therapist, generally it's a long-term relationship, somebody that you're seeing for years and years. So interview them. A lot of people spend more time picking out a washer and dryer, or asking questions about different cars and does it come with this feature, that feature, than they do with a therapist. This is your child that you're entrusting the therapist with. So if it's a good therapist, if it's an open therapist, they shouldn't mind you asking these questions. How many kids or how many people have you worked with Duchenne before? Do you have a good understanding? What is your basic style or focus on somebody with Duchenne when you're doing physical therapy? And if you don't get the feeling, like if you get the feeling from them that they have all the answers and they're not open to your questions or what you have to say, then maybe run the other way. But if you get the impression that, like, hey, they know a little bit about it, or maybe they don't know much about it, but they want to learn, they're willing to get to find the information, look for it, receive information from you, then I think that's somebody that's worth sticking with.
And if you find somebody like that, what's a good place for resources for physical therapists who want to learn about Duchenne? I know you've been with Cure Duchenne for a while, and they've got a fantastic program.
Yeah. So there are many places to do that, many avenues to do that, and they make it pretty easy. Cure Duchenne is a nonprofit advocacy organization for Duchenne that I work with. There's also PPMD, there's also JET. These are all fantastic organizations that make resources available. So you can go onto their websites, and there's usually places where people can learn like the basics of Duchenne or what to ask a therapist if you're looking to find a therapist. MDA also has a great website with, what is Duchenne, what is the approach of physical therapy. So either if you're not familiar with it as the parent and caregiver, you can read about it, or you can refer your therapist or somebody else, a teacher in school, a PE coach, you can refer them to these resources.
Fantastic. And what we'll do for everybody is we'll put in the chat in Facebook, I'll add a bunch of links in there so that you can just kind of click and go if you're not familiar with them. And unfortunately, as we learn, being parents of individuals with Duchenne, advocacy is our life. I mean, it won't be a big surprise that you've got to teach your physical therapist also. So even just getting yourself educated, that's going to be a big step in the right direction. Doug has kindly written up an article for us on family, friends, and Duchenne. We've got it on our website. That is a version of this chat for parents and another version of it for PTs themselves. So if you would like, you can type that up or print it up, share it with your PT. It talks about physical therapy in their language so that you don't have to try to be the middleman explaining everything. One final question, Doug, and not to end on doom and gloom, I just really want to underscore this. If you have a physical therapist who doesn't know what they're doing, what could happen to your child with Duchenne?
Yeah, I mean, I see this when we do muscular dystrophy clinic, and I talk to the parents and I say, oh, you getting outside therapy? And they say, yeah, we go once a week to such and such a place, and they work with my child. And when I ask them, what types of things do they do, and every once in a while it comes up that it's basically strengthening type things. Well, they have them kind of running up and down the stairs, or they have them on a total gym, or they have them doing weights. And it's, again, you can make things worse. So with some of these other diagnoses with cerebral palsy or spina bifida or some other diagnoses, if you're not doing the right thing, you might not make it worse or hurt the child, but you just might not see a whole lot of progress. But with this, I mean, it's so important, because the damage that can occur if you're doing the wrong thing, you can't reverse that. So they don't, these guys don't have the ability to heal their muscles. And so it's, there's only so much healthy muscle tissue there. And so as therapists, if we're doing the wrong thing and we're causing damage, we can't really say, oops, let's just rest for, a week or two and that'll all repair itself. That's damage that might not be able to be undone. So we want the kids to be active. We want them to do stuff. We don't want to, wrap them in bubble wrap and not have them do anything and just be sedentary, because that causes its own set of problems, both strength wise and psychological wise and all of that. But we just need to be careful on the strengthening component. We really need to, like you were saying, I think it's important for the parents to educate themselves, because they're the ones that are going to be advocates for their kids. They're going to be the ones that are maybe looking in on the physical therapy and saying, that doesn't seem right to me. I'm not really comfortable with what you're doing with my child, because I learned this, and this.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Doug. Thank you so much for being here. This is just, I just hear so often in the community questions about PT, and it breaks my heart when a child isn't getting the stuff they need. So I'm just so grateful for you to be here sharing this information around the world. And let's see, we're going to be here every week on Mondays just to chit chat about a little nugget here and there. Next week, we've got somebody coming on from South Africa, so excited, chatting about heel cord surgery. I know that's a big one, a big big question mark for people. And if you guys are interested in submitting your own question, please just plop it down in the chat there on Facebook, or contact me at the Family Friends and Duchenne website, or Lindy at Family Friends and Duchenne. And I think that's it. Doug, any closing comments or thoughts?
No, I mean, feel free to, like Lindy said, feel free to reach out with your questions. If there's, kind of a specific question you have, you can send it to her. She'll forward that on to me, and I'm happy to answer that for you. But no, I'm thrilled to be here, Lindy. Thank you for asking me to do this. And I just think information is so important. And so I'm looking forward to the weeks ahead.
Thank you, Doug. Really grateful. You have a great week, okay?
Bye-bye.
Bye.